you'd like to get involved in vegan outreach, our website is veganoutreach.org. I also have a nutrition blog at jacknorrisrd.com, and I maintain a nutrition website, veganhealth.org. And I guess the last thing I want to say is that we've been, in the last 20 years, we've seen a huge change in the amount of awareness of plant-based eating. Hopefully that will just continue to grow in the future, and at some point, hopefully it will pick up exponentially. And where I figure as soon as 50% of the people in the country embrace plant-based eating, then it's really going to go fast after that, because peer pressure will be on our side. As Martin Luther King Jr. said, if the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice, so we just have to keep working at it.
Our primary website is responsibletechnology.org for the Institute for Responsible Technology. To help you avoid GMOs, go to nongmoshoppingguide.com or download the iPhone application Shop No GMO. I'll be speaking here at 5 o'clock. We'll have an activist circle at the Acoustic Cafe at the other end of the hall at 6 o'clock to help organize for local activism, including how to plug into California's ballot initiative on mandatory labeling of GMOs. And tomorrow we'll have some handouts as you leave. And tomorrow from 9:30 to 5, I'll be training people to speak on GMOs in San Francisco, and there's also handouts for that at the table just to the left of the stage at Earth Balance.
Well, it's getting easier to learn about the subject. There's no end of information available. Read any of John Robbins' books, read Jack Norris's book, subscribe to VegSource, just Google the word vegan lifestyle and diet, and you'll get all the information you need. The most important thing, though, is remember what Mahatma Gandhi said, that example is not the best way to teach. Example is the only way to teach. You just do it yourself. What your kids will see, your friends will see. Don't say a lot about it. You just do it because you know it's the right thing to do for your health, for the animals, for the planet, for the future. And if we all just quietly set the example, it'll become the norm. But it's up to each of us to act at this point. And in fact, you're here at all is a great step. So keep the momentum going.
Vegnews.com. You can get resources, recipes, news. You can subscribe to our magazine. Lots of great information about vegan vegetarianism. I feel it's a really monumental time right now. There's a shift like I've never seen before. All of these things we've discussed today are coming together, and I do feel it's fueled by social media, internet, a demand for the information, and a willingness to provide it. But it does all start on an individual basis, so take charge of your personal health, live with greater purpose, pass something down to the next generation. It's a wonderful way to live, and the benefits are huge. And it's never been easier, too, with all of the information and resources out there. I always tell people just find 5 or 10 dishes that you enjoy eating, perfect them, and you'll be veg before you know it.
Real easy. Everything is fine as well, but hopefully you get into cooking and enjoy cooking on plant-based food. So I just recommend I can cook something, find some new recipes, keep your senses open. After we're done, go visit Lotus Foods and smell the different varieties of rice they have cooking, and just use your senses to learn the difference, and just become engrossed in it. And that's one of the best ways, is to become a part of it and really enjoy cooking and enjoy eating, enjoy all the flavor sensations and sensorial things that you can do with food. So that's my best medicine.
Cool. And I have a website called The Cool Vegetarian. We have over 115 videos, and we're putting up several videos a week, so you can check that out. So any questions from the floor? We've got time for maybe 2 or 3 at the most. Okay, so maybe just grab the mic, and then maybe we'll do is, if you can make them targeted for one person so that we have time, so it's not everybody that answers the question.
Thank you, Veg News, and I agree that education is real important. Could each of you name a movie or a book that inspired you?
Okay, well, we were going to say one person directed, but if everybody just names one movie, so it's quick.
Animal Liberation, I'll name a book.
Scientists Under Attack.
Diet for a New America.
The Witness.
Madhur Jaffrey's East-West Vegetarian.
Hi. If you're a vegetarian for 10 to 15 years, from my perspective, no problem. If you're going to be a long-term vegetarian for 30 years, I know I've been a vegetarian for that long generally. Was eating some almonds, half of my tooth fell off. You start to lose muscle mass. Is that just because I'm not really applying the principles of, and I've seen a lot of these things where people start to see gum erosion and stuff like that. And so my question is this: if you're a long-term vegetarian, is there a place for having some raw oysters once a week, or some sustainable, salmon? Or would you say that you really don't need any of that, you just need to apply the principles of being a vegetarian?
Michael or Jack?
Okay. Yeah, that's a very interesting question, and it's a lot of what I've dedicated my efforts in nutrition towards, is trying to make sure people stay healthy over many decades. Every person's different, and it's hard to know what to tell one person without talking to them in more depth. If you've been losing muscle mass, that does indicate that you probably, unless it's some underlying disease, it does indicate that you probably could eat more protein or maybe just more calories. Vegans should make sure they're getting enough calcium as well. They should try to meet the recommendations for calcium. And I can go over details of that, but I don't think we have time for that right now. In terms of oysters, that's also just a personal decision. I personally don't think oysters feel pain, so from an ethical perspective towards oysters, that's fine with me. There may be environmental issues with oysters that you should look into as well.
Go ahead.
I just want to say that I'm a vegetarian, but I also feel that people buy leather shoes and you have to kill animals for leather. It's a contradiction, what I'm saying.
So the leather issue?
Yeah.
The leather issue. Okay, so who wants to address, do we need leather in our life?
When I became a vegan 30 years ago, when someone told me about the animals, I complained, but then finally I agreed, yeah, he's right, but what about leather? And I looked at my shoes, my wallet, and I said, he's right. And so we dug a hole, and we had a ceremony, and I buried my leather and said a prayer over it, thanked the animals, and never bought it again. And nowadays, there's no reason really to use leather for anything. There's always synthetics around. So if you have leather, it's a great statement to bury it and say, do a little good riddance.
If I could just add to that real fast. For me personally, I see leather as the same as meat. I don't consume or buy either of them. These are vinyl, and there's plenty of alternatives these days, so that there's no reason to exploit animals, whether you eat them or whether you wear them.
Okay, I think we have
leather
time.
wallets.
I think we have time for one more.
Yeah, you can buy a hemp wallet. I'm wondering, is there any role for meat in the human diet? And I wanted to pose this to the doctor.
Is there any role for meat in the diet? Officially, no. You run into people, who've been eating meat for 30, 40 years, and they suddenly become vegan, and preformed carnitine and various animal products suddenly are not coming in, and their liver has to gear up and make all this themselves. And some folks may not do it efficiently, and these folks will feel better if they consume some animal products. Don't use that as a rationale for having a steak every night. I tell those folks then, view meat as a very expensive vitamin tablet that is toxic in large amounts. Find the smallest amount that will make your body work and consume it as seldom as possible. And it usually comes out to a little piece twice a week or so, about that big. But people say, I tried to be a vegan, didn't work, and now they're eating their cheeseburgers and their salmon steaks, and they're just chowing down on the stuff. If you got to have animal protein, then find the smallest amount that works for you and eat it as seldom as possible.
Well, we've run out of time. I know that we could go another 8 hours on this. Thank you, everybody on the panel. Thank you to Earth Balance.